You are suing Mr. Jamal Fredericks for $3,000 in damages for car repairs.
He wrecked my car while he was out using it to run errands. Hard quotes on the running errands. My best friend, she saw Jamal gallivanting around with another woman in the car.
It was just an odd situation. She asked me if I could run her to her mom's house.
You were the person behind the wheel of the car when the accident happened.
It's not my car. It's not my insurance that I was paying. So there is no reason why I would be responsible for this money.
So that's why I'm here and you're there, because that is not the law.
For the first time, we're bringing justice to you. Your location is the courtroom, and the truth has nowhere to hide.
That tells me all I need to know. I understand you don't like each other. I don't care.
Judge Faith, a former criminal prosecutor, legal analyst, and now creator of the first courtroom where justice has no walls, filters, or boundaries. Only truth. Virtual Justice with Judge Faith.
Brianna Jones?
Yes, hi, Your Honor.
Hi, you are suing Mr. Jamal Fredericks for $3,000 in damages for car repairs. You say he owes you. You say he wrecked your car.
That is correct.
And I understand the two of you were in a relationship, Ms. Jones?
We were in a relationship for about 2 years.
Okay, you're no longer in a relationship.
Absolutely not.
And you say he owes you money. So I'll hear from you first, ma'am. What happened?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor, for hearing this case. I basically met Jamal. I'm a wedding coordinator, and on an event, he was bartending during that event, and he was just a man who was super ambitious, so we kind of vibed on that level. And I'm someone who really prides myself in kind of, you know, giving back to those, especially us gig workers who are out there trying to make it work. So as we started dating, our relationship kind of consisted of me helping him out, paying some of his bills and letting him use my car occasionally when he was doing things like going on a job interview and he'd come right back, or going to get some stuff for us for the house and he'd come back home. On this specific occasion...
Well, hold on one second, Ms. Jones, before you get into the crux of the lawsuit. Let me hear from Mr. Fredericks. Can you give me some background as well, Mr. Fredericks, on who you are and your relationship with Ms. Jones?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Thank you. My name is Jamal. Yes, Brianna and I, we were in a relationship. Like she said, it was for about 2 years. We did met on site at an event. I was bartending with a different company, and she was coordinating the entire event. I believe it was a wedding. We hit it off. We enjoyed each other's company at the event, and at the end, we exchanged numbers, and on went our relationship. We were together for a while, and it was a good relationship to start. There was a lot of give and take. The perspective from the other side here seems to be a little one-sided, but there was, she did help me out a lot. I'm going to be 100% honest with that when I was down. But I also did help as well. You know, when there were times when she needed some assistance as well. I was happy to help when I did have the money and she didn't have the money. So there was a lot of give and take. This wasn't just a one-sided charity case, if you will. But yeah, so that's how we met, and that's where we're here now.
Were the two of you living together?
Yes, we were.
I mean, he was living with me.
Okay. Ms. Jones, go ahead.
So on this specific occasion, when he totaled my car, he asked me to borrow his car because he said he had some errands that he had to run.
He has to borrow your car?
He had to borrow my car because
And he did not have a car at the time?
He did not have a car. He had some credit situations, so he was on his way to being able to get a car, but he did not have one. So I'm under the impression that this man is working really hard to get back on his feet, doing everything he can to get a job and to get stable. I'm not just someone who's out there just taking care of a grown man. But that happened to be exactly what I was doing. He wrecked my car while he was out using it to run errands. Hard quotes on the running errands, and he was being just really negligent. So it was more than an accident. What happened was, it turns out that my best friend sends me a message letting me know that she saw Jamal gallivanting around with another woman in the car. And I'm thinking, well, he's out running errands right now, so what's really going on? before I could even get in touch with Jamal to figure out what was going on in my car, he's calling me to let me know that the car is completely totaled. Police reports were filed showing that he was at fault. He was driving extremely recklessly because my assumption is that he was distracted with all that was going on. You know, when you're doing something shady like that, you're not really focused. And he was being super negligent, driving 15 miles over the speed limit. My car is completely totaled and my insurance isn't covering it because he was found to be at fault. That's how reckless the situation was. And he is not accepting responsibility and will not pay me $1.
Okay, and Ms. Jones, I understand you did submit the police report, and I am reviewing it, Mr. Fredericks. It appears that you were going over the speed limit, and I know she added a lot of other information, who you had in the car, and we'll get to that in a second, but what actually happened with the accident? Are you saying that you are not at fault for this accident? How did the accident occur?
Coming up.
Jamal knows that my insurance does not cover any kind of damages that occur while using the car for work.
Someone else was in her car with you. Is that true?
It was a bizarre situation. I will acknowledge that.
So you were doing food delivery service, and then you turned into a rideshare service. Are you saying that you are not at fault for this accident? How did the accident occur?
I'm not necessarily saying I'm not at fault for the accident. I was driving the car. Things happen. However, I was not driving recklessly. The speed limit situation, it was unintentional. I'm not a
What is a
reckless
speed
driver.
limit situation? Can you explain that to me?
Yes, the police report did say that I was going 15 miles per hour over the speed limit. I honestly don't believe that was accurate. But it was in a zone where I was not aware of the speed limit. It was like sort of a zone trap, if you will, where it switched from fast to slower in a short period of time. So I wasn't aware that I was speeding at the time, unfortunately.
Okay, so you don't know how fast you were going, but you
No, Your Honor.
believe that you were in a zone trap and you could not have been going more than 15 miles per hour over that, whatever that speed limit is, but you don't know what it was.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so and how did the accident happen?
The accident happened because I was coming down a street and someone else was pulling out into, if you'd say, I was going this way down the street and they were pulling out into the going in the same direction as I was.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like, I guess they thought they had enough time, so they did come out in front of me, and I ended up hitting them, rear-ending them, which sort of made it automatically my fault. However, it seems there was a lot of factors that went into it, where it wasn't just, there were no distractions. It was just, it was sort of a technicality. It wasn't necessarily, both people were at fault here. I was going over the speed limit, which I did not know at the time. But they did pull out in front of me. However, they weren't seen to be at fault for some reason. I don't see that side of it.
And Mr. Fredericks, Ms. Jones also alleges that in addition to the speeding that may have been a factor here, that someone else was in her car with you. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor. So that day, what I was doing was I had made a stop because I was doing some gig work, some food delivery services with a car that Brianna allowed me to borrow, which she had in the past. And I was dropping off an order.
Your Honor?
No, Ms. Jones, you cannot. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Fredericks.
Thank you, Your Honor. And so I was dropping off the delivery at this customer's address. It was just an odd situation. She asked me if I could run her to run this errand for her, basically. She had some sort of emergency, had to get to her mom's house. Her car was in the shop. It was a bizarre situation. I will acknowledge that. But she needed help, and I decided, hey, I'm available, let's do it. So I allowed her to get in the car. It was down the street, not too far. And unfortunately, that is when the accident happened.
So you were doing food delivery service, and then you turned into a rideshare service, all in the same 30-minute time span.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily getting paid for that service.
So you did not know, you did not know this woman. You were doing food delivery service to a stranger that you did not know, correct, Mr. Fredericks?
Correct.
According to you? And
yes, ma'am.
When you went to hand over the bag of food, somehow the two of you struck up a conversation about her needing transportation somewhere else to a relative's home. That's what you're saying in court today.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand it was a bizarre situation, but, when someone needs help and I was available, it just felt like the right thing to do at the time.
So you then tell her, sure, get into the car. I will transport you for no money to your next location. And you're saying that this is a woman that you do not know whatsoever besides handing over her burger and fries.
Yes, Your Honor.
That day. Okay. Okay, Mr. Fredericks, what do you say? Who do you say this person is, Ms. Jones, and how do you have evidence to support that?
I have evidence. First, I submitted, my witness couldn't be here today, so I have submitted an affidavit from my witness stating what she actually witnessed in the car.
Okay.
A point that I really wanted to make clear was that Jamal knows that my insurance does not cover any kind of damages that occur while using the car for work purposes. Driving to a job is one thing, but I'm not allowed to be doing delivery services in my car because that's something you actually have to pay for if I'm using my car as a taxi service or something along those lines. So he was very aware of the circumstances under which I allowed him to use my car, and that in itself was a hard no, going to do any kind of food delivery in my car.
Okay, and let me take a moment and look at your affidavit from your witness, which I do see you submitted to court today.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Fredericks, just so you're aware, I have a signed affidavit from an individual. Her name is Karen Sneed. She testifies through this affidavit, and I understand from my court staff that it has been verified. And she claims that she actually knows you, that you're a friend, and that you were picking her up that day, and you guys had plans. She said that she was not someone you were delivering food to. Is that true, Mr.
No.
Fredericks?
Coming up.
Your license was suspended according to the records that Ms. Jones submitted.
I wasn't an unlicensed driver per se.
I regretfully was essentially taking care of this grown man.
It's not my car. It's not my insurance that I was paying. So there is no reason why I would be responsible for this money.
The car is broken and the trust is broken. Try not to crash someone's vehicle and your relationship at the same time next time. She said that she was not someone you were delivering food to. Is that true, Mr.
No.
Fredericks?
No, Your Honor, that is not true. I did not know this woman. I was just delivering her food and was trying to be a good person and help her get to where she needed to go. But I don't know where that is coming from. I don't know if Brianna has talked to this person.
Now Miss Sneed, for whatever reason, is now making up a story to help out Miss Brianna Jones with her case.
Yes, Your Honor. I
think she's
it could be
making
a
this
money
up in this
thing.
affidavit.
I'm not really
Okay.
sure if they're trying to split this money or what's going on, but I did not know this woman prior to that day. Yes,
Okay.
seriously.
Thank you, Mr. Fredericks. What other information do you have, Ms. Jones, that you would like for the court to consider for your lawsuit today?
I would like the court to consider just the extreme negligence that caused this accident to occur, such as the defendant Jamal here doesn't have a driver's license. So I know that on part, I should have been aware of that. But sometimes, there's a ticket.
You don't have a license, Mr. Fredericks?
You have a license.
Your Honor, if I may, at the time, I was hard up on money. I did let my license expire. However, at the time, that's all that was happening. I have since then renewed my license. So I wasn't an unlicensed driver per se, but I did miss my payment to get it renewed.
But you didn't have a
I'm
license.
honest
Per
about
se,
that.
Mr. Fredericks, you did not. Your license was suspended according to the records that Ms. Jones submitted.
Yes, Your Honor. At the time. For a brief period. It was a very brief period. I missed the payment. I wasn't able to pay it. And then a month
But
later,
during that
I
brief
did have my
period,
license
you
back.
have an accident and a car is totaled and her car is totaled, which is why you are in court today. Is there any other evidence that you would like to submit, Ms. Jones?
I would like to acknowledge my submission of just the repairs that is going to cost to fix my car and what the damage actually was that totaled up to the $3,000.
What is the make and model of the car?
It is a 2014 Toyota Lexus.
Okay, and you submitted an estimate for damages in the amount of $3,000. What is the reason, Mr. Fredericks? I understand that you have been going through a difficult time financially, but you were in the car. It appears that you may have been going over the speed limit. You had another passenger in the car at the time, whether or not you were distracted, and your driver's license was suspended. What is the reason that you have not run Miss Brianna Jones her money?
Well, Your Honor, this just frankly is not my responsibility. I am grateful that the car was loaned to me. However, it's not my car. It's not my insurance that I was paying. So there is no reason why I would be responsible for this money. Brianna, out of the good faith, loaned me her car, but that doesn't make the car my responsibility. This is her car, her insurance. I'm sorry she didn't get better insurance. It's a little odd that it wasn't covered by the insurance. I don't really know what's happening there, or if it was insured. I don't know. But yes, so I don't owe this money, Your Honor. This is not my responsibility to bear.
It is Miss Brianna Jones's car, but you were the person behind the wheel of the car when the accident happened and rear-ended another car. But you said because it's her car, it is ultimately her responsibility, correct? Is that your statement today? Okay,
yes,
so
Your
that's
Honor.
why I'm here and you're there, because that is not the law. That is not the way the law works, and that is not the way claims work, even when it comes to insurance, Mr. Fredericks. First of all, you have a huge issue with having this accident and not having a valid driver's license at the time. That alone is a huge factor in fault here. Second, you rear-ended another car. According to the police report, they do believe you were speeding. You said you were in a speed trap. That I do not find that defense to be credible. And I also find the story to be quite incredible that you showed up to deliver food to a young woman and you just had a random conversation and you decided to give her a ride that day to her next destination. And that's the only reason why this stranger happened to be in your car, because you went from a food delivery service to a rideshare service in a matter of 20 minutes. I do not find your testimony in this case to be credible, Mr. Fredericks. So you are delivering food and people with no permission to do so in Miss Brianna Jones's car. Now, Miss Jones, you said something earlier. You said that over the course of this relationship, you ended up paying more bills than you wanted to and supporting Mr. Fredericks more often than you needed to. Why were you doing that? You ended up paying more bills than you wanted to and supporting Mr. Fredericks more often than you needed to. Why were you doing that?
I don't know, Your Honor. I really believed in this man. I thought that we loved each other and were establishing a relationship together. And he was super ambitious. He was really someone who wasn't just sitting in the funk that life he found himself in. He was someone who I believed to be working hard to get out of it, but that was all a lie. He became, after about a year and a half, I started to notice a lot of the victimization. Nothing was his fault. Didn't accept responsibility for most things, but I just really believed in hope. And I think that that's why I regretfully was essentially taking care of this grown man. And now we find ourselves...
I'm going to give you some unsolicited dating advice going forward, Ms. Jones. And that is, you take a person where you find them. You don't rely on their potential, their ambition, what you think they can be. And in the meantime, you're taking care of the person that you're supposed to be in a committed relationship with. There's give and take. Now, there are always going to be highs and lows and ebbs and flows in a relationship. But listening to this case and what the two of you have shared with me today, it appears that it was pretty one-sided from day one.
It was.
And when that starts happening, that's when you have to start thinking about what is really happening here. Am I being taken for granted? Am I being taken advantage of? And not let the love you think you have for someone cloud your judgment and your thinking. Mr. Fredericks?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because it turns out Mr. Fredericks' biggest ambition seemed to be getting over and getting what he could out of their relationship. Mr. Fredericks, try not to crash someone's vehicle and your relationship at the same time next time. Do better for yourself.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do better. It sounds like you were going through a rough patch, but that rough patch ended up lasting 2 years. The $3,000 in damages that Ms. Jones is suing you for, you owe that money. For all the reasons I've stated, you totaled the car, you crashed the car. I believe you knew the woman that was in the car with you, but that's neither here nor there. It's not a legality that I can make a judgment on in this case. But just as an aside, and I understand now that the two of you are no longer together because the car is broken and the trust is broken. But my judgment in this case is for Ms. Brianna Jones, $3,000 justice for the plaintiff. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you, Your Honor.